Tough loss last night for the Nats, but it's a new night. The sun is out. Skies are clear at PNC Park in the Berg. It's the Nats and the Pirates for the second game of this three-game set, and there will be a lot more folks from Washington here than were here last night, so maybe the noise makes a difference. The Nats are still up on the Mets by a healthy margin. There's the Cubs, Nationals, Dodgers home field advantage picture. LA getting closer. They're a game and a half back. So, Bob and FP here. The key to this whole thing, win a couple of ball games and you take care of the clincher and keep the Dodgers behind you because you don't want to be looking back at them.
Yeah, I think I got a little too wrapped up, and maybe we all got a little too wrapped up on what was going on in New York last night. Forget the Mets. The Nats need to win 2 ball games, take care of it themselves. So if they win tonight, they win tomorrow, they win the National League East. Forget the scoreboard watch and take care of business here tonight and tomorrow. All
right, Joe Ross is out there again. 3 solid innings in Atlanta. The slider looked great. He got hit a little bit in one of those innings, got out of a jam in the other. But this is a very potential important October piece to that staff.
Yeah, key element for the Nats for sure. He threw the slider more than the fastball last time out at 47%. The fastball just 41. So we'll keep an eye on the velocity of the fastball. Talked to Dusty Baker today. He's hoping to get 5 innings out of Joe Ross. I think the big story tonight is who's coming in after Joe Ross. Mark Melancon down after a couple innings last night. Who's going to get the save? But first things first, you got to be ahead.
And the Nats are facing Ivan Nova. Interesting story, longtime Yankee. He's got a lot of incentive. He's done well with the Pirates. He'll be a free agent at the end of the season. There might be a big payday coming for him.
Yeah, big-time strike thrower. Look for the Nats to be hacking early tonight. He's got a sinker. He stays away early. He'll front hit the sinker to lefties late. He's got a pretty good curveball to go with it.
So it's Nova against the Nats. Bryce has come alive. Ryan has come alive. Last night, 5 hits, 3 doubles combined. Kind of an unusual night. The Nationals had 8 extra base hits. The Pirates made 3 errors, and Pittsburgh won anyway. Trying to take that stubborn number 2 and kick it down a notch tonight. Pirates take the field. It's ball game number 154 on the year. Oh, what a baseball night. 72 degrees in Pittsburgh. It is just gorgeous at PNC Park. Only problem is the Nats have lost 7 of their last 9 in this yard. Time to get things turned around. Danny Espinosa, a career-high 23 home runs, 3rd among National League shortstops. But he's a guy who hits most of his out of the number 8 spot, and few others in any year can make a claim like that. Pretty much the regular guys out there tonight. Daniel Murphy still sidelined. Drew in there, batting 6th. Ivan Nova, 29 years of age, and he's making his 128th big league start.
A sinker curveball changed the arsenal for Nova. He'll start the fastball away mostly and then run it into lefties late. Last start was on the 18th against the Reds. Took the loss in that one. Went 3 innings. Get this, gave up 5 runs on 10 hits, struck out 2, and didn't walk anybody. So coming off a tough start last time out. Here's your defense for the Buccos behind Nova tonight. Joyce, McCutchen, Bell will be playing in the river. Rodriguez, Gung left side. Frazier, JASO right side. And Francisco Cervelli looks like he's about knee deep in the water.
It's Matt Joyce, one-time American League guy, getting part-time duty with the Pirates tonight. And of course, Gregory Polanco went face first into the left center field fence last night. So hopefully he's okay. Out for a couple of days, most probably. Turner and Worth will get things going. The Nats are 6th in the league in batting average, 4th in runs, 4th in home runs. Pirates lost a half game in the wild card race today. St. Louis beat the Cubs. And so Pittsburgh with still some hopes left. 4 back to try to sneak in there. There's Mike Everett, he's the crew chief. 21-year veteran. George Baker, first base. Mark Wegner at second. And Tim Timmons, who had a controversial finish to his night last night, is at third. Nova and Turner. Dre 1 for 6 last night. Pretty good when you can go 2 for 19 and you're still hitting .338. 7:07 first pitch.
But he's got the right side if he wants to push a bunt. JASO's got his.
Good call, but too close to the pitcher. Nova, though, couldn't handle it. And Trey Turner going to lay one down with the first baseman way off the line and back.
I mean,
got to be a hit, right?
Ideally, he wanted to bunt a little bit hard. Look how back JASO is, how far back he was. And I saw Trey Turner peek out of the corner of his eyes. Maybe we can show it again right before the pitch came. So he saw what I was seeing from way up here. But if he pushed it past Nova, he had himself a hit. And that's got to be a hit all the way. There goes the no-hitter. Trey Turner with a base hit bunt. You see the little peek to second base, and then he lays it down. Nicely done, Trey Turner.
All right. Hasn't been able to get the running game going much, and the Nats feed off of that. He is still 7th in the league with 27 on the, might we call it, half season. Cervelli behind the plate, 22% caught stealing, but a lot of that has to do with his pitching staff. And if Jason Worth wants to go the other way, all he's got to do is hit a ground ball to where the second baseman usually is.
Unbelievable in this shift right now. 3 guys on the left side. Now they're going to move Frazier back over a little bit, but Jason Worth can hit it that way.
And evidently they want to pound Jason inside, get a ground ball to the left side. Let's see how the execution part of that goes here. Still a lot of room. Target is in. And Worth will just fight it off and dump it down the line. Fair ball right in front of Joyce. Turner cruises to third. And the Nats are off to a great start. What a good spot for Bryce Harper's first at bat.
Well, you see the sinker, Jason Worth getting him out of there. The sinker was elevated. If it's down, it's a ground ball, but because it was about belt high, Jason Worth got it over the third baseman, Gung. And an easy first to third for Trey Turner. So Nats in business here in the top of the first. 2 good at-bats.
And Bryce Harper had some good ABs last night. 3 for 6. Double single his first 2 times up. Bryce has faced Nova before, 2 for 4. Nats saw just a little bit of him in one start, June 7th of 2012. Yankees at Washington. He beat the Nats that day, but some of the guys had some swings, like 2 hits for Harper And earlier in his career, 2 for Drew with another ball club.
Starting him up with a curveball, Bryce hitting fastball. That swing he had last night suits him well against the sinker from Nova, but we'll see if Cervelli gives Bryce a chance to go the other way.
Young about 25 feet off the line, third base side. Bryce will drive this one to left center. Matt Joyce waiting for it. There is no way he's throwing out Turner. In fact, he just hits the cutoff man. And just like that, cheers in the ballpark from red-clad fans. It's 1-0 Washington.
Yeah, lots of Nats fans making the trip today. They're excited. 1-0 good guys. Good at bat by Bryce Harper. Doesn't take much to score Trey Turner on a sac fly. And the Nats with their Saturday Reds on looking sharp here early.
Bryce Harper, RBI number 83. Anthony Rendon is next. It's about as quick as you can manufacture a run with 3 batters. Now the Nats have 114 first inning runs, best in all of baseball. And Trey Turner, the key to all of that, getting on base. Target in. Rendon pulls it foul. Look out, Buccos. 0-2. Nova career 58 and 40, 430 career earned run average. Oh-2, and that hits him. On a breaking ball, Rendon wears 1, 2 on, 1 out.
Yeah, curveball got away. And now the Buffalo has a chance to do some damage. And that's in the first inning. We've showed you all season long. They have some good coffee down there in that clubhouse. They come out hacking. Lead all of baseball in runs in the first.
The only national better with runners in scoring position than Wilson Ramos is Daniel Murphy. Ramos 9th in the league at 331. Jacked one out of here to right center last night. Had another base hit to right field. First at bat against Nova. Left side, knocked down. Great play by Gung, but he goes to second. And Rendon was already there. Bases loaded.
A pretty good effort by Gung, but the out was at first because of the speed of Wilson Ramos. I mean, it's easy to say up here. Game's moving real fast down there. Gung with the dive and play. So once he has the bobble, pick it up and throw it to first. You got plenty of opportunity to get Ramos because Anthony Rendon can run. You try to squeeze the force out at second base, and now the potential for a huge inning with bases loaded, 1 out.
Yeah, Rendon, good call there on the play, by the way. They give Ramos a hit because it was not an easy glove play for Gung. And here's a huge spot for Stephen Drew. As I mentioned earlier, 2 career hits against Nova. A solo home run in 6 at bats.
You can win a ball game in the first inning.
Yes, you can. So former teammates locking up here. Ball 1.
Stephen Drew was hitting a lot of base hits to left today. He had trouble seeing the ball in batting practice around sunset. And Dusty Baker said, hey, pull one of those cheap seats over there just so you can remember what it feels like.
He goes the other way. It's near the line, but going foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. I'm not going to watch the scoreboard tonight. Going to glance at it occasionally.
Yeah.
It's Alec Asher for the Phillies. Lefty Sean Gilmartin comes out of the bullpen to start for the Mets tonight. They're just underway.
Yeah, I thought about it last night after the game. Worried way too much about what's going on in New York. It's all the Nats have to do is win 2 games. They control their own fate. They don't need anybody else's help. And maybe in a season when there wasn't a pennant race, you're trying to create something that's not there. Take care of your business, win your game, and forget about New York and what they're doing. I feel much better this way. Kind of cleansed myself last night.
You were a little jumpy last night.
Yeah, I was watching that other game way too much.
Worth, Rendon, Ramos on base here. That's a great fastball under Stevens' hands. Didn't like the call of Mike Everett, and that'll make him aware that on a 2-strike count, you better be hacking.
Mike Everett is inconsistent in my notes as a home plate umpire. He has a lot of confrontations, and he throws a lot of players out. So we'll keep an eye on that tonight. Just a side note.
Saw him shaking his head as if he didn't like Drew asking him.
Yeah.
1-2 pitch. No swing, says Tim Timmons.
Dusty's not even moving a muscle. He's got a good seat in a good position, but he's not even going to turn his head. Look.
2-2, huge pitch in the first inning here for Nova. Way inside, 3-2.
Well, what do you sit on here if you're Stephen Drew? Got to be a fastball, right? Bases loaded, 1 out. You throw me the curve, you got me, but I am all in on a heater right down the middle if I'm Stephen Drew.
A run already in. Drew 7 home runs, 17 RBIs on the year. And Drew right up the middle with a rocket. Scoring is Worth. Here comes Rendon. Throw is very late. It's 3-0 Phillies in New York, and it's 3-0 Nationals in Pittsburgh.
Well, woohoo! That is a professional at bat, folks. Gets it to a 3-2 count. Knew a sinker was coming. Drills it right back up the middle. So he painted him into a corner. You know you're not getting a changeup. You know you're not getting a curveball. He can't mess around with the fact that he might walk you with the bases loaded. So you get the heater right back up the middle, scores a couple, and everybody in the first base dugout, and maybe even the booth, is really excited right now.
Ray Searage to the mound. So 6 batters, 1 retired, and that was a sac fly. Michael Franco has gone deep again, and the Mets have put 3 on the board on 1 swing by him.
Long way to go.
Listen. Next up will be Zimmerman. Ryan swinging well all of a sudden.
I mean, that's about the best 3-minute stretch ever. But long way to go. Nice at bat.
Always nice, though, when you've only made 1 out in your first 6 batters, and that one drove in a run. Ryan Zimmerman, 5 for his last 13. A homer, 4 RBIs. Doubled a run home early here. In fact, he doubled twice going the other way. He was 0 for 4 against Nova in that game way back.
Oh, we got an alert. Bob, sorry to interrupt. We got an alert.
Bank of America with the alert. The Nats are on top 3-0. Ryan Zimmerman made it to 1,500 hits in 1,402 games. Right there with Dustin Pedroia, Hunter Pence, and Ryan Braun. Jammed. Braun and Ryan Zimmerman were drafted 1 spot apart. Oh my goodness, another Nat spin hit, and that one was a fastball.
Yeah, he didn't want to hit him. He just rattled right now. Big time rattled early in this game. Bases
loaded again. That was 94.
Yeah, that did not feel good for Ryan Zimmerman. Obviously. This is what it sounds like. Listen to this. Ugh.
Little chest pat, mutual thing with Francisco Cervelli.
Yeah, I mean, this is where don't let him up for air. You know, he gets out of this with just giving up 3 runs, settles into this game. You know, this is where you step on the throat mentality plays big time.
Danny Espinosa. Inside, we heard Mike Everett say. Danny from the left side this year. 46 of his 69 RBIs on 14 homers.
There's number 23. It's still there. Nobody got it in case Danny wants it. And there's batting practice balls around it, but that is the ball to the right from last night. Just a lonely home run.
Curveball 2-0.
Maybe he can send him a friend. Somebody to keep him company out there.
That would be the true definition of baseball friends.
Send him a friend, Danny.
Next RBI for Espinosa will be number 70. On a 2:0.94, a little late.
It's where you have to remember that Nova's the one in trouble. He's the one trying to scrap out of this thing, not you. Get your pitch.
Up the middle, hot shot. Nova home for 1. Throw to first, out on a close play. So Nats are standing around, maybe going to have a look at first, but it looked like a 1-2-3 double play.
That's tough luck for Danny. That was heading up the middle. He hit it hard.
To challenge or not for Dusty Baker. Already has a big first inning.
Tough to tell right there. It's a big challenge because Joe Ross can hit. Don't forget, Ross is hitting 270 on the season. He'd love to hit with the bases loaded. I mean, a normal pitcher right here, okay, but Joe Ross can rake. He's still standing there with his helmet on.
Dusty right there wants to let the umpires know ASAP because it's a lot of standing around going on.
All right, we got an Expo shot. What do you got? Whoa. Wow. Wow. I don't know if that's enough to overturn it, but that was darn close.
You're going to wave it off and not challenge. It's a 1-2-3 double play. Still a great first inning for the Nats. Turner got it all started. Jason Worth got a base hit to make it 1st and 3rd. Harper sac fly. Ramos a single. Then drew the big blow. Drove in 2. To be determined for the Pirates. They're hitting .259, fourth in the league. Joe Ross, third career game against the Bucks.
Yeah, last start returned to the mound for the first time since July 2nd. Allowed 1 run on 6 hits in 3 innings in a 6-2 loss against the Braves. He threw the fastball 41% of the time last start at 93. Slider 47%. The changeup 12.
Only 2 Pirates in the lineup have faced him. It's his third career start against Pittsburgh, 1-1 with a .270 ERA. Adam Frazier, rookie hitting .320, had a good night here last night. Base hit, sac fly, 2 RBIs. They moved him all over the place defensively after Polanco was injured. Inside, 2-1. Twilight time upon us here. Good looking heater.
Man, what's Joe Ross thinking right now? I'm spotted a 3 spot before I even throw my first pitch. Pound the strike zone, be aggressive, stick to the game plan, but most importantly, be aggressive. And Joe Ross has never had a problem with that. It's the thing we like most from day one. His fearless nature on the mound and just throwing strikes, going right after guys. The body language, the tempo, the demeanor, everything. Big league from day one.
Two to the leadoff man. That slider way in on his hands, and the Nats were ducking.
Sean Rodriguez on the right. Are those real Pirates?
I wouldn't go ask him. 2-2. Swing and a miss. 94 elevated. Pirates lineup. 4th in the league in batting average, 6th in runs, 12th in home runs. Sean Rodriguez hurt the Nats last night. He's a tough guy, feisty guy, played a good shortstop. He had hits 2 of his last 3 times up last night, including that devastating double over the outstretched glove of Trey Turner with 1 out away from a win.
Yeah, that's him. For sure, that's him. That's his bat, too, with the flag on it.
There's the rookie right fielder, Josh Bell, hitting .291. On the infield, Stephen Drew, 2 outs.
Yeah, here's your Nats defense behind Joe Ross. Worth, Turner, Harper, your outfield. Espinosa, Rendon, left side. Drew Zimmerman, right side. And Wilson Ramos is on a boat and catching.
Andrew McCutchen, 11-game hitting streak, 404 over that time. Had a couple of knocks last night. 3rd inning triple after he walked, and later had a single in the 9th inning. And then he was the guy out at second base when the Nats won that challenge.
Fastball 96 from Joe Ross. Did you see that?
That's a sizzle. Follows it up with a great slider, low in the zone.
I don't think I've ever seen Joe Ross throw 96. He's been like 92, 94, occasional 95. He just popped a 96 first pitch to McCutchen. Could be wrong, but I don't recall 96.
And then McCutchen just goes with the pitch. Here comes Turner, and Trey keeps it in front of him on a 2-out single. Great effort, and Jason Worth was backing him up, and the Pirates get a base run.
See Trey at the top of your screen. Pretty good jump. Good first step. Good effort. the biggest test for a former shortstop playing center field is once you get comfortable out there to anticipate the baseball. At shortstop, you're always ready for the ball, every single pitch. But a lot of times, as center fielder, it starts to get boring out there, and it's a mind game that you play with yourself to say, hey, this ball's coming to me, this ball's coming to me, this ball's coming to me. Sometimes you don't say that, and you take a break.
There's Jung Ho Gung. The Mets have just pulled Sean Gilmartin out of the game in the first inning, down 5-0.
Well, I sent a text to Phillies manager Pete McCann today and said, hey, could you win tonight, please? Thanks. So far, so good.
That ball's well hit to right. Harper to his left. McCutchen stopping at second on a 2-out single that had Bryce Harper running quite a ways to get it. Two on, 2 out.
Stephen Drew to the mound, Danny Espinosa to the mound. I'll tell you what, if Stephen Drew's talking to me, I'm listening to everything he says. He's got a lot of Adam LaRoche in him. You know, the more you're around him, the more he plays. He's the sneaky, quiet leader on this ball club. He gets it big time.
32-year-old John JASO in there, hitting .263, but a whole lot better lately. Last month or so, over .340. Facing Ross for the first time. It's on the outside edge. Brought it back.
Rocking the dreads, or does that just come with the helmet?
One to JASO, who's driven in 35 runs. Wide open with the stance. He'll swing it around and step into it. And takes it off the plate. Ball 2.
You remember last night when I was talking about Gung in the stretch? JASO's got a lot going on that he has to get ready facing Joe Ross out of the stretch. Probably an easier at bat for JASO if Ross was in the windup. He's got to do a lot of things to get ready to hit. I mean, a lot of things.
Hard hit. Ryan Zimmerman catches it on the fly, and the Nats are out of the first inning. McCutchen and Gung base hits. Joe Ross leads by 3. Achiever in you. By Roy Rogers, now open in Pasadena, Maryland. Visit RoyRogersRestaurants.com for a location near you. By Airlines for America, where airplanes land, opportunity takes off. And by Dominion, depend on us for more than energy. The Monongahela rolling by, Nats fans. Well, the better half is.
Girl gets it, guy's confused.
Handsome couple.
And he's way over his skis.
Aren't we all? Top of the second, Ross, Turner, and Worth. He mentioned his hitting, 10 for 37 this year with an RBI. And Joe, like a regulation hitter, sets up and he knows the strike zone. To Hopper. Gung backs up just a bit. Look at Joe Ross getting it down the line.
You better not take too much time with Joe Ross running. He can fly. Gung tapped his glove, looked up, said, uh-oh, I better get rid of this. Nats fans everywhere tonight. You see red people all over this yard. I love it.
Well, we heard a lot of cheers during that 3-run rally first inning.
It's Colton Whitlock right there. He had a tough day yesterday. Playing in his backyard, broke his arm. Son of our director, Chuck Whitlock. But he's a gamer. He's at the ball game after breaking his arm yesterday. Love it.
No way, buddy.
You can play on my team any day, buddy.
He's broken both of them, by the way, his dad has told me at different times. Rodriguez handles that. 2 ground ball outs, and Jason Worth is next.
Well, he needs to cut that out, breaking stuff. Enough of that.
Worth a key base hit. They were playing him in a shift. You could tell they wanted him to hit the ball to the pull side, and Jason got enough of it to line it down the left field line to send Turner to third, and off the Nats went. Two-0.
Yes. Green light, yes. 4-0 swing, yes. Not the pitch he was looking for. It started up, had some late movement down.
And Worth hits this ball well and deep. Right center, right off the top of the wall. Almost took the ketchup bottle and broke it in half. And Jason Worth is 2 for 2. Hit that ball the other way, about 390.
So close to 4-0. So close. He got a 3-1 fastball, went down and got it. Look at him dig that out. Jason Worth's such a good low ball hitter. Then he gives it the patented bat flip toward his dugout. Where did it hit? Yeah, right off the ketchup bottle. There's probably some ketchup on the ball right now. They should check it.
Worth 28th double, 48th extra base hit. And there's Bryce Harper. He got the job done early in the count first time up with that sac fly the other way.
No way he's hitting here early in the season. This is a 4-wide at bat in April and May for sure.
To the shortstop, Rodriguez. And that's it for the Nats in the top of the second. But Jason Worth is 2 for 2.
Here in Pittsburgh. The most important thing coming out of Joe Ross's start last weekend in Atlanta, his first start off the disabled list, was that he felt good physically, and that was a check, or else he wouldn't be on the mound here tonight. But more importantly now, as he is physically okay, is how his stuff is feeling as we get close to the postseason. I talked to Joe the other day, said that his stuff felt good in Atlanta. The fastball command was solid. Some sliders started to spin in the third inning, but overall he felt his slider was pretty sharp as well. He also told me that his changeup, a pitch that he doesn't throw that often, he worked on it a good amount while he was injured. The key for him with that pitch is trusting it, trying to locate it down, not trying to create the movement. He feels like it's progressed a little bit, so we'll look for those changeups a little bit more today. Dusty Baker saying maybe 4 or 5 innings for Joe Ross tonight. No real pitch limit, more a case of how Joe is pitching. They want to try and build that pitch count up, though, so he can keep going deeper.
That's what we're all looking for. Dan, thank you. Coons.com sideline report. Over 2 million vehicles sold and counting. 51 pitches, 38 strikes in that outing at Atlanta last Sunday.
They threw the changeup 12% of the time. That's one of the higher percentages he's ever thrown.
Yeah, that slider. What an equalizer that is, even when you're behind. 1-1. First inning tonight because of the base hits, 18 pitches, but he only missed with 4. Little pop up, Ryan Zimmerman.
Ball's not carrying you right. Yoga in the outfield is back Sunday, October 2nd. Just stretch for the rest of the day after the ball game. Just stretch all night until they kick you out of Nats Park. 3:05 start. Get a Nats yoga mat. Special ticket is required, so visit nationals.com/yoga. Is the field goal pose right there.
From way up there, we're looking down at PNC Park here. It's not as high as our perch at Nationals Park, but we are farther away from home plate here. Here's Matt Joyce.
Our view, though, is just insane here.
It is.
It's like we're on a movie set. It doesn't look real. It's our view right
I know
there.
those are fake buildings. It's a big green screen, and we put a whole downtown on it. It's amazing here. Matt Joyce at 239, 12 homers. Another guy who's been in the American League most of his career. Foul tip. That couple we showed, the Nats lady and the Pirates guy, that's Sarah Lynn LeBeau and her new husband, Ben Hartzell. They're here with family and friends tonight. Each family dressed in respective Nationals or Pirates colors. So thanks to her mom, Becky, for the note. And now we know who we saw a little earlier. And we wish them all the best in their new life together.
That's great. He's still over his skis.
0-2 to Joyce with 1 out. Ramos with the target well outside. And Ross hits it elevated, ball 1.
Matt Joyce walked for the 21st time as a pinch hitter last Saturday against the Reds. That's a major league record for most walks as a pinch hitter this season. How about that?
I know, I saw that and I'm like, Matt Joyce, not Bryce Harper. But Bryce never pinch hits. I know, that's crazy. Pinch hitting and then they walk it.
Got a good eye.
Bryce out there in front of that scoreboard in right. Left-handed hitters can love it, but if they're thinking about it all night, they can go 0 for 4 real quickly here. It's a right field version of Fenway. Strike 3 call. Joe Ross with the fastball. That's his second K of the night. Mercedes-Benz will track it.
The fastball's jumping on a Joe Ross's hand. I mean, look how effortless that is at 94. They'll cut to it at the end, too. So it's been 93 to 96. This one 94 and perfectly placed on the inner half for strike 3.
2 outs, bases empty. Trying to get the number 8 hitter. Maybe force Nova to lead off next inning. Cervelli with a 10-game on-base streak going. Batting average at .261. And 1 for 3 career against Joe Ross. There's the Roberto Clemente wall out there, 21 feet high in celebration of the great Clemente's uniform number.
It's a best I've ever seen it look with that 5-0 to score in it. Yeah, that's a good looking Roberto Clemente wall tonight for sure. So far, so good. Long way to go.
That slider, filthy tonight to the right-handed batters. The fastball just elevated.
95. Almost like Joe Ross has that I got this mentality right now. You gave me 3, I got this.
Two. Throwing his hand straight up. And it's 3-2.
All over the lines. Right where number 3 is. One more time down the way. Oh, they're going in.
And Cervelli will fight it off, dump it into right field. So Joe's given up 3 hits, all with 2 outs. That'll get Ivan Nova to the plate. Inside the numbers on Joe Ross. Been a little better on the road. So 10 starts, a 2.82 ERA, significantly lower than at Nationals Park, as is the opponent's batting average. The OPS, strikeouts per 9 innings, higher. It all is brought to you by Jeep. So 4-3 on the road. Nova 3 hits this year, 4 for 37 career. He went 7-6 with the Yankees in 21 games, 15 starts. ERA just under 5. Gets a first pitch slider. And now with the Pirates, 9 starts, a 2.93 ERA. He's gone 5-1. He'll be a free agent. Reports have him really liking working with Ray Searage here, their pitching coach. But can the Pirates afford a guy like this who's 58-40 career? And the reports have his reps wanting a $70 million contract for 5 years or so. Not really what the Pirates do. It'll be an interesting situation to watch. At home, he's 3-0 with a 2.03.
I'm going to text 29292 to the Pirates so I get that alert when he signs.
I'm not sure your phone will be vibrating on that one. We'll wait and see. 0-2 pitch.
Oh my goodness.
Fastball right down the middle. 2 innings for Joe Ross, 3 harmless singles, 3 strikeouts, and a 3-run lead.
Diamondbacks, if one of the presidents heads it, they could score a goal from midfield, I think, with those huge heads. With the purchase of a special ticket, receive an exclusive photo opportunity with Al Krieger and Crystal Dunn of the U.S. Allie Krieger and Crystal Dunn of the U.S. Women's National Team. Visit groupmatics.events/soccer 2016. It's not Al, it's Allie. Tighten it up.
All right, Curtis Goodwin. Why are we showing him? Because when you have insight, you know how to handle your finances with confidence. And minor league pitching, it's brought to you by PNC Bank. For the achiever in you, Brian, is on our list of batting leaders at AAA, AA. And Brian at 280. Wilmer Defoe represented 259 at Harrisburg. Isaac Ballou's a young man to watch. He was the player of the year at Potomac last year. Got the AA promotion this year. So well done, young men, including Ryan Goodwin.
Isaac, grandson of Felipe Ballou. Brother Bob Ballou. Cousin of Moises Ballou.
Anthony Rondon, he was behind in the count 0-2 first time. And he got hit by a pitch. Then two singles later, the Nats led 3-0.
Max talking baseball with Dusty tonight. Love it.
Pitch up, jammed Anthony. Pop up right side for John JASO. Really the first scuffle of Rendon's season. He's 1 for 22. It'll give you great defense every night and good at bats. Wilson Ramos to the left side first time.
Hitter number 22 last night in the 6th inning. Fastball up and away, and he just rides it out of here to right center. Almost went over that chain link fence in the back row of the bleachers. Two horns up. Take my helmet off, please. There's some 4 horns up. Oh, I love those hats. I want one. Fantastic. Those are the best Buffalo hats I've seen.
Homemade, I was told during batting practice today. And so that was $250 more to the Children's National Health System. Washington, D.C. Lexus dealers. The pursuit of perfection, a great cause. Lexus, home runs for children. Good fastball.
A couple add-ons here really demoralize the Pirates. If they can get it to 4 or 5, just a couple add-ons. Don't want to sit on 3 because they still feel like they're in this.
So Ramos 3 hits in the series already. And a big rolling curveball strikes him out. That's Nova's first K of the game. Nissan will track it.
And with the curveball right here to Wilson. 82 miles an hour, some sweep to it at the end.
Stephen Drew, the hit of the game so far. A line drive cleanly up the middle for a 2-run single. They got the Nats from 1-0 to 3-0.
So it's Allie Krieger, I'm being told. Sorry, I'm not a soccer guy. Don't make me read that anymore. You're the soccer guy. That's your promo for now. I don't know anything about soccer. I'm a baseball analyst.
I was hooked on phonics for 6 weeks during the '94 World Cup. It was great.
Yeah.
1-1, 2 outs. And that's another one hammered up the middle. Stephen Drew throwing fastballs, throw him off speed. Doesn't matter right now the way he's swinging.
Telling you what, this guy's such a professional hitter. He had 3-2 fastball first time up, right? So what's he hit this time? It looked like an off-speed pitch right back up the middle. So sat on something different, eliminated the fastball first time, gets off-speed second time. Stephen Drew can hit.
283 batting average now. Ryan Zimmerman hit by a fastball first time up, and that hurts. Outside.
the best way to get somebody back that drills you, even if it wasn't on purpose, is to take them deep. Trying.
The thing about Nova, things happen quickly when he's pitching. 8 batters, 23 pitches, first inning. 4 batters, only 11 pitches in the second. So he's on the attack. Guys will swing. And Zimmerman takes that one inside, 2-1.
He's got 45 strikeouts and 3 walks. So yeah, there's nothing to wait around for. That's why we said earlier the Nats would be aggressive tonight. He's coming into the ball game.
And if you combine it with his Yankee numbers, 120 strikeouts, 28 walks all year. Tapper in front of the plate, Cervelli. Nats are done in the third. 3-0 thanks to a great first inning.
As we go to the bottom of the third inning. Tuesday, September 27th, be one of the first 25,000 fans at Internet's Park. You get a Ben Revere Garden Gnome. That's presented by Delta Airlines. It's a Nationals and D-backs, 7:05 start. And bring home this year's gnome. Visit nationals.com/tickets for more info.
Nats fans keeping up to date on everything going on here, bottom of the third.
Look at all the red behind the dugout. I see red people.
There's Adam Frazier. Joe Ross struck him out to start his night. Two innings for Joe, 36 pitches, 25 strikes. Even though it's 2-0 target away, and then Ross puts it to the outer half of the plate. '31st big league start for Joe. 12-10 career, 3.5 ERA. Hasn't allowed a leadoff man on yet. All the hits the Pirates have had, 3 singles have come with 2 outs. That'll fill it up. Pirates at home got over. They're trying to get back to the 500 mark, 37 and 38. The Nats on a 2-5 trip, 43 and 35 away. The Hurdles Ball Club still a flicker of a hope in the wild card race, 4 back. They got to win every day. And they have won 7 of 9.
Clint Hurdle not too keen on another ball club celebrating on his field. He said as much after the ball game last night. It's something all teams never want to see, is someone celebrating in your yard, bud.
(3-2). Joe keeps pumping strikes, and he gets a fly ball, playable, left field line, and Danny Espinosa right off the right shoulder of Rendon, and that ball was fair when he caught it. 1 out.
And Danny had the better angle right there, so nice route, called him off. I saw a little white there at the end. Was I seeing things? No, that was snow cone all the way. Rendon just bails here at the end. Ugh. That's when you hear the "I got it." The loudest one and the last one. I like the hustle. 3 guys there for the baseball. That was nice.
Well, those 2 left side guys, amazing range. There's Josh Bell, and that's high in the air to right. Bryce Harper back. All he can do is watch, and it's a 3-1 game. The rookie with his 3rd big league home run.
See the pitch again from Joe Ross. Looked like a slider that just spun. The slider's had some bite to it, but he sped up Josh Bell because that one didn't break. Maybe overthrew it. He didn't want it there. It just happened that way, and Josh Bell took advantage.
Ross home run given up, number 9. So the rookie has 3. Here's McCutchen. Look out, because you know what he's thinking. 1-0 pitch, and he fouls one that was well inside toward his label, and the count's even, 1-1. Ross staying in there. Well foul as McCutchen got a hold of it. Mercedes-Benz on the last one.
Yeah, fastball in off the plate. No way to keep that fair. That was a rocket out of here, but way foul. Might get a slider on the other side here. See where they go. Oh, they're going back in there. I like it. And you see the defense that he's pitching to. 3 players on the left side.
Swing and a miss. The up and in heater. The slider down and away. Strikeout number 4. 2 outs.
I like that he doubled up with a fastball in to get to this. I mean, that's good pitching right there. We don't see guys double up with the heater. I talk about it all the time. So he went fastball in, he jacked it foul. You're thinking, oh, he's got to go the slider here. No, he went back with the fastball in to set up that last pitch. So double up on the heater, slider for strike 3. That was nice.
There's Jung Ho Gung. Base hit to right first time after McCutchen had dropped the line drive in front of Trey Turner in the first inning.
Yes. Red fist power. I'll hopefully be with you guys in a little bit. Save one for me.
Oh, that one sounded like it deflected off Gung on the way by, and he will go to first base. That was upstairs, dangerous.
But he's trying to throw the same pitch he threw to McCutchen, just back Gung off the plate and then go slider away. Edward Wilson setting up way in there, and that one just got away from Joe, didn't finish it.
There's JASO with 2 outs, and last time in a situation with 2 men aboard, he lined out to Ryan Zimmerman.
Been a lot of wild pitching tonight. Remember, Ryan Zimmerman got hit with a fastball. I think Rendon got hit with a curveball.
He did. Yeah, Ryan took 94 on his.
And now Gung with the fastball. So it's only the 3rd inning and 3 guys have gotten hit.
So the shift to the other side here. 1-0 to John JASO.
I feel like if you go dreads, you got to go beard with it. It's got to be the total package. You can't go clean shaven with dreads. You got to drop the beard too.
And he pulled the off speed.
So remember that, kids. If you're going to go with the dreads, grow a beard too. It's your tip for the night for the Nats broadcast team.
One of them.
Looking like that. See? I mean, those aren't dreads, but that's the look I'm sort of talking about. No dreads, just beard. Dreads.
Two and one with 2 outs. Drew right on the edge of the grass. Right side, but that one drilled up the middle. We showed you that graphic about how many hits JASO has right up the middle of the field, and he does it again. And this is turning into a long 3rd inning for Joe Ross.
It's a good swing, got his foot down early, right back up the box. Just a rhythm swing, and he had a better idea after facing Ross out of the stretch his first time up, although he hit that one hard too.
So JASO's hit 2 hard line drives. Sean Rodriguez, a weak pop-up to Ryan Zimmerman first time up. And Mike Maddox out for a visit. Not running out there, taking his time. Giving Joe a few extra moments here. Already moving around in the Nats bullpen. Like Reynaldo Lopez is about to start throwing. So double barrel action out there as Sean Burnett will join Reynaldo.
Sean Burnett would be the face the lefty guy to get to Reynaldo and hope he gets some innings out of Lopez. That's probably what Dusty's thinking.
Here's Sean Rodriguez. Had a big hit last night. Pirates have now had 5 hits in 3 innings. So it's 3-6-0 Nats, 1-5-0 Pirates.
Good slider. Sitting dead red 1-0. And watch him pull the string on this slider with late movement.
Ramos moving in, and a pretty good fastball just misses. Joe Ross already at 10 more pitches than he threw in Atlanta. And Ramos on the backhand short hop, gloving that 3-1.
See, I think you got to throw the slider again here, even though you missed 2-1. Because it goes back to what I was talking about earlier in the game. You paint yourself into a corner. Now, Rodriguez knows the fastball's coming. He's all in on the heater. So if you could make a slider look like a strike here, you might get an out, or you might get strike 2. But 3-1 strike with the fastball, if it's not perfectly located, could be trouble.
Target in. Bases loaded. Hit batter, single, walk after the second out. And Dusty is on his way. Joe Ross will fail to make it out of the 3rd inning. It'll be his first walk tonight. As we mentioned, pitch count mounting, 18 in each of the first 2 innings. And now he's up in the mid-60s.
He's not in shape. You hit the wall. It's that simple. He'll get there, hopefully. Nats need him.
Going to be a long bullpen night for the guys in red. Arenado, 1 more RBI, and he's got 130 again. Corey Seager, when did he become the first rookie to lead the Dodgers in average since '93, and that was the Hall of Famer Mike Piazza, and then Michael Fulmer with Detroit. 2.95 ERA, piling up the innings. It's all brought to you by T-Mobile. 34-year-old Sean Burnett, a great comeback story. And he's making his 7th appearance for the Nationals. out of baseball for the last couple of years, and really the better part of 3 years. Hardly pitched it off for the Angels in 14, and so great to see him back on the staff. And how do you think he's doing that, Pete?
Yeah, two-seam fastball slider for Sean. Big situation to be thrown in. He's a strike thrower. He's a ground ball machine, and Dusty Baker looking for an out. Any way he can get it with 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. Bases loaded.
Yeah, 4 hits in 3 2/3, couple of strikeouts. Matt Joyce facing Sean for the first time. Only 2 Pirates have faced Sean before, David Freese and Andrew McCutchen. Despite the lefty-lefty, Nats in a shift. Bases loaded, 2 outs. And Burnett gets it in there for a strike. And the hook. 0-2. Nissan will track it.
Slider here for Burnett. 2 pitches, sinker, slider. And this one goes right under the bats of Matt Joyce. Huge pitch coming.
Nats lead 3-1, 3rd inning.
The lead at third base.
Line drive to right, and Bryce Harper is there. 3 stranded by the Pirates. They've already left 6. Yanny Espinosa straight ahead.
Number 23 for Danny. Fastball middle away, just smoothed it out to center field. It's still sitting where it landed. And then how about this play? I don't know which foot he kept. Everybody on Twitter said it was his left foot. I thought he dragged his right foot across. And I still think it's his right foot, so everybody on Twitter, you were wrong. But what a pick. Able to keep his foot on the base. Let's go deep inside the numbers. Check this out. Most home runs from the 8th spot in National League history. So that was the Milwaukee Braves in 1955. Del Crandall hit 22, and Danny Espinosa's 2nd all time.
Wow. Espinosa bunting. It's by the mound, and that is a knock. And that's 2 for 2 bunting tonight. Turner in the 1st, Espinosa in the 4th, and both leading off.
Perfect bunt. A little Bellata action at the end, too. Watch it just check up. So the 2nd base hit bunt of the night for the Nats. Trey Turner, the 1st one. Danny Espinosa, the 2nd one. That one not in the bushes, but still a base hit.
So Sean Burnett came in, got his job done on 3 pitches, and Brian Goodwin will hit for him. Brian's been good with the bat. 2 for 4 as a pinch hitter. Actually 2 for 6, pardon me. And overall, 8 for 28 to equal that .286 average. Sean Burdett helped the Nats get out of that inning. Kind of sets up a good situation. We can pinch hit for him right here, and then maybe turn the ball game over to Lopez for a while. See how long Reynaldo can be effective. First things first, trying to increase the 3-1 lead. Short lead by Danny Espinosa. Goodwin lays down a bunt. Cervelli, and there's nobody at first. And then the ball thrown into right field as Cervelli tried to shut down his throw. Nobody was covering the bag. Obvious cross up on the right side of the infield, FP. Not sure I've ever seen that one.
I just thinking to myself, the bunt works again. Goodwin puts it down, and it does. And Francisco Cervelli, exactly what you said, just caught in between. I've never seen a catcher throw it to where the second baseman's standing. Was there nobody covering first?
Nobody.
Well, where was the second baseman?
He was heading there, but he wasn't there. That was crazy.
I just watched the throw go into right, and it looked like somebody hit it, a single through the hole.
And I'm just guessing. I think he saw what was happening and tried to shut down the throw, and it went away on him.
Probably.
Fastball, a strike.
Couldn't tell from that angle. I was watching the throw. Somebody's got to cover the base, and that's where communication comes in. JASO peels off, and so did Adam Frazier. Did you see that? They both peeled off.
Wow.
It's not Cervelli's fault. Big break for the Nats.
Yeah, they give Goodwin a hit on that. Then the error sends Espinosa to third. Three for three on bunts, the Nats.
I've always said you can bunt your way to an NL East title.
There we go. Wilson Ramos in the first. The Nats have 4 infield hits tonight. 1-1 to Turner. Loud sound off his bat. Well foul.
Huge add-on here if they can push one across. Huge. And a huge answer to the Pirates' one in the bottom of the third.
Eight Washington hits already. Target in. And the bat went. Trey Turner is down on strikes.
Well, now it's up to Jason Worth to pick up Trey Turner. He's having a nice night. Singled his first time up, doubled off the ketchup bottle in right center field the second time up, and he'll settle for a sac fly here, but I think he's thinking more. Seeing the ball good off Ivan Nova so far in this one. He likes to attack early in these situations. We'll see if he's hacking.
Well, that's great. You're facing 94 and a riverboat blows as you're facing a pitch. They like to blow the horn as they go by the ballpark.
Hey, keep it down out there. Trying to play a baseball game in here.
Go have dinner on your cruise. 0-1. And Worth high in the air, straight back below us.
And just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, look forward to Miller Time later in the game. That's brought to you by Miller Lite.
0-2, and JAYSON takes it low. Sitting on 67 RBIs, walked with the bases loaded last night to get to that point. Reynaldo Lopez will take over bottom of the 4th. That's could come close to getting Nova out of this game with a couple of runs here. He's due to bat second.
He's taking his time for sure right now. Hey now, let's go Eagles.
Good one, by the way. 14 stolen bases at AAA this year. He's holding. Worth bouncing ball left side. They're going to come home because they couldn't get 2, and now they don't get anybody. The ball gets away, and Goodwin goes to third, and then Worth never saw the ball, couldn't get to second. I mean, he was running through the bag. So the Nats lead 4-1, and it's been a crazy inning on the infield for the Pirates.
Yeah, Danny Espinosa hit hard with Francisco Cervelli. So give Jason Worth an RBI in the fielder's choice. Hope Danny Espinosa's okay. Hit hard at home, and this was the right play by Rodriguez. Maybe. I mean, I think you take the out at first there and just give up the run, because now you got first and third, 1 out. And where did Danny get hit? Ankle? Right ankle? Not sure where he got it. But either way, a big add-on run for the Nats. Good hustle by Espinosa. Way to put it in play, Jason Worth.
Yeah, Paul Lessard back there with Danny. So fielder's choice, E6 on the throw. And still only 1 out. And with Goodwin getting all the way to third.
Yeah, it was his left ankle, I believe. Kind of hit weird. Caught a cleat.
Big at bat for Bryce Harper now. Right side. They're going to try to turn a 4-6-3. And Bryce is safe. And that'll buy the Nats a run. At least safe for now. I'm sure the Pirates will take a look.
There's a lot of things to look at here. The Jason Worth slide at second base, and whether Bryce Harper was safe at first base. So tons of things going on here for Clint Hurdle. He could challenge a couple of things. I didn't see Jason slide, but I know Rodriguez tried to get out of the way, and Rodriguez is pointing at second base. So first the slide. Oh, he wasn't on the base. Maybe Dusty Baker challenges this on top of it. And Bryce Harper hustling. Give him credit. He wanted that RBI, and he wanted the lead to increase. So lots of things. Was Sean Rodriguez on the base, number 1? I say no.
Looks like he missed it.
Did Jason Worth go out of the baseline? I say no. Did Bryce Harper touch first? Yes. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff going on. I can't keep up.
So this could be really interesting. If the Pirates choose to challenge, the Nats could challenge. And if the Pirates don't challenge, the Nats still could on that play at second. Clint Hurdle's not going to issue a challenge here.
And Jason Worth was called safe at second? So he was. Okay. We're good. All good. A lot going on.
That. Harper gets a second RBI tonight on the fielder's choice. Some of the Pirates fans can't understand why Jason Worth is still at second base.
Because Sean Rodriguez didn't touch the base. He was called safe.
And this is where we need to tell the fans in the ballpark what the heck is going on. There's a murmur through the crowd. They're wondering what is happening. So still only 1 out, right? Scoreboard has 2, but it can't be because Worth is standing there. So it's 1 out. They've given a third error. I heard E4. They claiming Frazier pulled Rodriguez off the bag. So the Pirates have made 6 errors in this series in a game and a half.
Uh-oh. Eagles added a field goal.
Oh, my goodness.
My goodness.
This is getting out of hand in a good way.
That might be better in the first inning.
So here it's 5-1. 2 runs are in. Harper and Worth aboard. Bryce 84 RBIs now. And Anthony Rendon hit by a pitch, then 0 for 1. Nobody throwing yet, but they're scrambling in the Pirate bullpen. That's inside. And he threw that one away. Cervelli, very little chance of corralling that. And the wild pitch will move up 2 runners. Worth to third, Harper to second.
It just spikes this curveball, not even close, 55-footer. I mean, this is huge right here for Anthony Rendon. If he could find a way to 3-2 count to extend this lead, Francisco Cervelli wore one right there. He's going to take his time.
I mean, that thing was so wild up here, it looked like he almost tried to reach up and swat it with his arm or his bare hand. Pirates started this series with 95 errors. They now have 101. And it's the 4th inning of game 2.
Still need more runs. Long way to go in this one.
Yeah, agreed. Anytime your bullpen's pitching the last 6 innings of a ball game, 6 1/3 to be exact.
Yeah, he might be done. Francisco Cervelli's tough. For him to be calling the trainer out. Got him in the wrist. He's got a wrist guard on, but maybe the hand. That's twice tonight we've seen Nova with runners on and stuff going behind him get rattled and just kind of fall apart. I mean, watch this pitch. That's a big league pitch. That's not even close. And he did. He swatted it down with his right hand, just like you said. Thing is, his hand was going toward the ball, so there was the momentum of his hand, the momentum of the ball. It wasn't like his hand was going away from the ball.
Trainer Ben Potenziano with him there. Jared Hughes, the guy we saw earlier warming up. Now we eyeball him a little better out there. I want to see if Cervelli can throw the ball out of that hand.
Yeah, Clint Hurdle's got to make a pitching change here, doesn't he? After he finds out if his catcher's okay.
Yeah, this isn't the first 5 months of the season where you want to get out of the inning so you can hit for the pitcher. They got plenty of guys to do both. Looks like Cervelli stays, and a tip of the cap to him. That was dangerous.
3-2 count. You don't want to do it to a guy coming in, but
so Rendon full count, infield in, runners at second and third, 1 out. Ramos on deck. So there they are in their respective baselines. And on the right side, maybe inside by a couple of feet. 3-2 to Rendon, who has 78 RBIs. Will try to drop one to left. Falling. And the ball caught. Getting up is Joyce. Jason Worth read it well. He scores. And it's 6-1.
I mean, great play by Joyce, better base running by Jason Worth. He went back to tag late. As soon as he saw Joyce tracking, he scrambled back to the base, and Joyce was on his knees. Watch Worth, top of your screen. He's heading back that way, starts to leave, then sees him catch it and goes back again. Still knows he can make it because he's on his knees. Great base running by Jason Worth. Nice at bat by Anthony Rendon. Now the lead is 5. Nats up 6-1. It's happening, folks.
Ramos 1 for 2. Struck out on a sweeping breaking ball last time by Nova. In there. And then Ramos to take on an 0-2 down and away. Steven Drew has been outstanding tonight. 2 for 2. Big hit of the game, first inning, 2-run single. Ramos waiting for that one, and he skies it to center. McCutchen in front of the track. And that's it. Long inning for the Pirates defense. The Nats get 3 and lead by 5. For hybrid, all-wheel drive, and unexpected performance. Visit buyatoyota.com. Tonight, gorgeous night in the Berg, the Monongahela, just upstream from where it meets the Allegheny to form the Ohio. And you can watch the drive to the pennant. MLB.TV Premium has it for you. Every out-of-market game live in HD on more than 400 supported devices. You get a free subscription to At-Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout. Other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV. Right now, Sean Burnett's the pitcher of record, getting one out. Reynaldo Lopez will take over here for the Nats and a chance to pitch for a while.
Man, fastball's averaging 96, curveball 78, changeup 10% of the time at 86. And now Francisco Cervelli, after getting dinged on the right wrist, has to hit.
So it'll be Cervelli, then a pinch hitter, and then Adam Frazier. Bottom of the 4th. Cervelli tonight, a bloop single to right.
Shutdown inning's so huge right here. You don't want the Pirates to think they can hang around. And the first out, even bigger.
Their switch hitter, Josh Hansen, on deck. Pardon me, Alan Hansen.
You just got to pound the zone here. Let your defense work behind you. Don't have to nibble. You got a 5-run lead. Be aggressive in the strike zone. Let your defense play behind you. You can't walk guys, not with a 5-run lead, and you're not going to be out there long if you do. That's why Danny Espinosa is going to the mound right now, probably saying, hey, let us play behind you. Got a 5-run lead, give me a ground ball. We'll play defense behind you, but we can't play defense if you're going to walk guys.
Rookie switch hitter Alan Hansen, 2 for 6 as a pinch hitter. His right-hander Drew Hutchinson, as they hit for Nova, who gave up 6 runs, 3 earned. All the runs in that inning were unearned. That's a ball squirting to the left side of the infield. So Rendon over to cut it off. 1 out, Cervelli to second. The Nats will announce after the game tonight who will pitch tomorrow. And the Pirates will bring Tyler Glasnow out of their bullpen to pitch tomorrow. And then the D-backs are in for 4, including a Thursday matinee. That's before the Marlins come in for the weekend to end the regular season. Nats Extra, 30 minutes before and after each game. And if there's a clincher, I'm sure it'll be more than 30 minutes post-game. Runner at second, 1 out. Frazier is next. Off the stretch, and Lopez gives up a rocket to the right side, but right there is Drew. Cervelli at third, 2 outs.
That's what I'm talking about. Throw strikes. Let your defense play. Who cares if you hit it hard? You got a 5-run lead. Nicely done. Good trip by Danny Espinosa.
Next up, the rookie Josh Bell, who homered last time up. He has 31 hits, his first 105 big league at bats.
Stand in the Nats dugout. He really closes up though.
Aggressive pitch, aggressive swing. Straight back on 97.
We hit the Joe Ross slider out for a homer, and I think Wilson Ramos was thinking, make him hit the heater. That was late.
Two on the off speed. Off speed again.
You know, that was supposed to be Noah Syndergaard tonight for the Mets.
It was.
Strep throat. I don't think it'd be 10-0 if Noah Syndergaard had pitched. Probably more like 8 or 9-0.
Yeah, they brought lefty Sean Gilmartin out of the bullpen. Didn't make it out of the first. They're in the top of the 5th now, so that game running ahead of us, even though it started a few minutes after this one in Pittsburgh. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Lopez challenge fastball. Drew's got another one. Pitch to your defense. Going to the 5th. Drew, Zimmerman, Espinoza. The Nats 6-1.
Driver's seat. Let's give Stephen Drew some love. Remember last night, the double to left? I know you do. Little ground roll double piece. And then tonight, bases loaded, first at bats. Drills it up the middle. That scores JAYSON, WERTH, and Anthony Rendon. And then last time up, another base hit up the middle. So Stephen Drew is a hitting machine right now. And he just made a real nifty play on defense to end the 4th.
He's one of only 2 Nats, Drew is, that has faced Drew Hutchinson in the past. Mike Stevens faced him 10 times with a couple of hits. Longtime Toronto Blue Jay, 26-year-old Drew Hutchinson. Part of the Francisco Liriano deal, August 1st of this year with the Blue Jays. Stephen Drew hitting .283 with his 2-for-2 tonight and 3 hits in the series.
I'd be surprised if he gets a start in the playoffs somewhere. I don't know where. But all these at-bats he's getting right now are going to help him if he does pinch hit in a big situation in October. It's a battle of the Drews. Who you got? I'm going to go with Stephen Drew right now because it counts 3-0.
Well, I'm not going with a Pirate.
Drew and Drew.
He'll draw the walk, and he's on for the 3rd time.
Winner, winner.
You might say he drew that walk to lead off.
That's my fake TV laugh.
Inside the Numbers brought to you by Jeep. So the season series. Look at the errors. Runners in scoring position. Neither team doing very well there. A lot of stranded runners. Nats ERA. It's been kind of a crazy season series. The Nats trying to get back on top 3-2 tonight.
I'm thinking a pair of laughers would be about the best case scenario you could possibly imagine.
Wow. Drew had quite a jump, then he went back. And Cervelli threw in there, and he got around to John JASO.
I'm not sure why he stopped. I saw him go, and I said, that bag's stolen. So I just was looking for the throw. He must not have really felt comfortable with the initial break, but I thought he had it.
Agreed.
He used to fly until he broke his ankle in Arizona.
Yeah, that was a gruesome injury he suffered. 1-1, and Zimmerman takes one to the outer edge. That was 5 years ago, that slide into home plate. 1-2 to Ryan, trying to check in with a knock. Good rip, straight back it went. Zimmerman on a pitch away, staying alive.
That's the view you'd have on deck if you were 1 foot tall.
Drew back in there standing up that time.
Probably draw a walk.
Restless Pirates fan trying to start a wave here. 1-2 to Zimmerman. And Ryan fouls one straight down that gets him.
He's got the guard on, and guess what? It didn't hit it. How many times do you see that? Seems like once a night somebody does it. Got him right on the ankle where the guard isn't. Watch this. Or on the foot, the big toe, the instep.
Ryan and Cervelli, if misery loves company, they're spending some time together tonight. Remember when Ryan got drilled back in the first, he and Francisco had a chat. Then Cervelli took one off the bare hand and the wrist last inning. And now he's going to mill around while Ryan tries to walk that thing off.
Having a rough night.
One and two the count.
Still taking inventory. See him kind of opening his eyes wide. That's because, you know, when you hit the right spot, it make you tear up. He's trying to regain focus right now.
With Drew on the move, Zimmerman, long ball to right, gone if it's fair. Home run! Ryan Zimmerman, 16th of the year. RBI's number 47 and 48. And he's going to take a slow, painful trot around the bases. And everybody will know why.
I don't think it was fair. Ryan stopped is why I'm saying that. Francisco Cervelli's arguing right now. John JASO's arguing right now. And the only reason I'm saying I don't know if it was fair is because Ryan stopped and then started again. He had the best view, but he goes mini Kirk Gibson right there with the limp around the bases after fouling one off his foot. I hope he's okay.
And they are challenging.
Watch Ryan. He hits it, he starts to run, and then he stops. Watch. Oh, it's foul. And then he sees the fair call and he tries to play it off. Yeah, it's foul.
Yeah, that looked like the white of the ball passed by the yellow of the pole.
I mean, he knows. He tried to play it off. I just hope his foot's okay. That's the most important thing right now.
And this should not take long to challenge and overturn.
I think it's an umpire review, too. You don't have to use a challenge for Clint Hurdle. I swear, he tried to play that off so nice. Did you see him just decelerate and then just go, oh, I got to play this off because he called it fair. I mean, it was a good acting job. Got to give him credit. He thinks it's fair. Come on, make it fair. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, they're showing a frame-by-frame replay. So Jordan Baker, the first base umpire, missing the call. It's a foul. And Zimmerman will come back and do this whole thing again.
Watch, the Academy Award goes to Ryan Zimmerman for playing off a home run that he knew was foul. Watch this. Oh, yeah, I think it may. Okay, watch. It's foul. Wait, ump called fair. Got to speed up again and just play it off. Little handshake. Not very enthusiastic about the handshake. Oh, that was great. I'll take it. That was that whole thing was I'll take it.
Ryan was looking up at the board to get the count, and they were showing some crazy video here. And now the totals are back up there. Those folks knew it was fun. So it's 2-2.
I think that's one even before replay they would have overturned. The umpires would have got together and changed that one.
Yeah.
Sure, Mike Everett behind the plate had a good look at it.
And then Ryan Zimmerman takes one low. Full count.
Let's see if Dusty starts Stephen Drew.
Into the 9 o'clock hour we are. Already the top of the 5th. That's a long games here in Pittsburgh. Extra innings last night. We went 4 hours and 36 minutes. Right now it's all good though. The Nats on top 6-1. Nobody out. Drew is running. Zimmerman serves one the other way again.
And that one's fair.
I saw that would-be homer. It reminded me of Ryan's first career pinch hit home run years ago in Philadelphia that he literally wrapped around the right field foul pole at Citizens Bank Park. He's been known to do that a few times, but usually not that far over. He gets jammed on that one and pops it up. Fair ball when caught, one out. Danny Espinosa is next. Inside the numbers. Brought to you by PNC. So the Nats, 41% of their runs on the long ball. The Pirates just 33%. The Rockies, the Cardinals, and the Mets are the 3 teams ahead of the Nats in home runs. 5 away from 200. Danny Espinosa has contributed 23 of those. There's Reynaldo Lopez, 15 pitches, 8 strikes to pitch a scoreless 4th inning. And unless there's a double play ball here, he'll be batting in the 5th. Runner on the move, swing and a miss. And that's quite a pick by Sean Rodriguez on a throw that didn't make it to him on the fly. Picked it, slapped it down on Drew.
Stephen Drew's looking back to the dugout like, hey, I think I was safe. Check it out together. Stephen Drew is feeling frisky tonight. Oh, the hand got caught. That might have been the difference. Watch the left hand roll up underneath Stephen Drew and never get to the bag. If that hand's extended right there, he makes it. I mean, that's a nasty slide. That was a car wreck. Playing hard, though.
2 outs now, and Danny Espinosa takes an off-speed pitch that misses. 2-1. Started the bat and stopped it. Ball 3. And that's a couple of runs. Bottom of the 5th, 10-2 there.
I like Dusty pushing the envelope up by 5 runs, him and Stephen Drew. And he would have been safe if his hand didn't get caught underneath him.
Three-2 again. Part of that crazy sequence. Last inning with Danny led off with an infield bunt to the right side that kind of popped past the pitcher, and then Goodwin pinch hitting pulled one over there as well. And then the inning fell apart for the Pirates defense as they made 2 errors. All 3 runs unearned. 3-2, swing and a miss. So Reynaldo Lopez back to work halfway through the game in Pittsburgh. 6-1 Nats.
quickly flash back to last night. Dusty Baker admitting after last night's game that Trea Turner probably should have been playing a little bit deeper in the bottom of the 9th inning, playing a no doubles defense with the Nats up by 1 run. He also took some blame for that himself, though, saying that the Nationals coaches, given that Trea is new to center field, should have told him to play deeper in that situation. But Dusty also spinning that situation positively today, saying sometimes younger guys make mistakes down the stretch, but it's not a bad thing because they get a chance to learn from it. He said young players these days get rushed to the big leagues so often, they don't have a chance to learn some of the things in lower pressure environments in the minors. He said you can give players all the advice you want, but they don't know what they don't know until it shows itself on the field. Dusty saying the key is to learn from those mistakes now. You put that information away in your brain, and hopefully that same mistake won't happen again in a higher pressure situation, the playoffs. So Trea Turner learned from that last night, and the Nationals hope won't be an issue again going forward.
Knowing Trea Turner, it won't happen again. Thanks, Dan. Coons.com sideline report. First pitch, bottom 5. Worth right there to grab the drive by McCutchen.
So take you through it last night. Trea Turner at the top of your screen. If he's playing no doubles, it's all he has to do is go to his left. With the tying run on first, you should never, or the winning run on first, you should never have to, the tying run, you should never have to go back on a ball late in the game. You should be playing deep enough where you're not taking the angle Trea Turner took. Watch the jab step forward, too. His left foot comes in, and then he realizes, uh-oh, that ball's hit better than I thought. So you just see the angle he's taken. Heel's on the warning track, man. You should come in on balls always in the 9th inning when the tying or winning run is on first base. Nothing would be hit over your head. We said it last night. Same thing Dusty said. It's a great learning experience for Trea. That'll never happen again. He's only played center field for about a month or so. So put that in the computer. Next time, play a little bit deeper. Probably should have been about 4 or 5 steps deeper than where we just showed you.
Lopez 0-2 now on Jung-Ho Gung. And going right after him, a foul ball, upper deck.
But like Dusty said, you know, usually have coaches whistling on the top step. Hey, hey, hey. But I think because of that replay and Danny Espinosa's foot on the bag, off the bag, it kind of threw the rhythm and the timing of the game off, where maybe all of a sudden a pitch was made and they weren't ready. And that happens oftentimes.
Gung on base twice tonight with a base hit and then hit by a pitch. And a 1-2. He waited for that one. Fair ball, left field corner. Jung-Ho Gung is on for the 3rd time tonight and for the 5th time in this series.
Now, we talked about it last night. Gung was having trouble getting to any fastball, and they just sped him up with a slider right there, and he caught it out front. That leg kick timing thing is all off for him. He's been scuffling lately on the heater.
John JASO, 2 line drives. One at Ryan Zimmerman, one up the middle for a base hit. So Ramos about to have a chat with the young hard-throwing pitcher.
He got crossed up. Not happy. He just dropped a grenade in his glove. Did you see that? Buffaloes don't always have to be happy. It's not like instinctual. They can be upset. Don't get a Buffalo mad.
JASO with a big swing.
JASO's had the best at-bats tonight, I think. The ball on the nose twice. 1 for 2 with the line out to first.
Lopez trying to bring that backdoor breaking ball around. Two and two. Mets just got 4 in the 4th. Still a 10-4 ball game. Phillies on top in New York. And here's a 2-2 to JASO. Well hit right field. Bryce Harper hardly had to move for that one. 2 down.
Saturday, October 1st, join us for Runner's Day at Nats Park. You can't drive to the game, you have to run, everybody. Forget about the Metro, everybody runs to the ballpark. With a special ticket, receive a Nationals LED shoe safety light, plus a pregame Budweiser Bud Light. Yeah, have a beer after you go for a run. Visit nationals.com/run. Just don't have a beer before you go for a run. You have a pierogi and a beer and a Mr. Potato Head.
Photo op. Not every day you get to stand next to a giant pierogi. Sean Rodriguez pop up to first and a base on balls.
There's the Potato Heads. Tried to bring it back. Nice try.
By the way, that was a 4-run 5th for the Mets, and they're now in the 6th up there. 1-1 pitch to Rodriguez, who's driven in 55 runs. Lopez away with the heater, 2-1. Right side, back, and well out of play.
Oh, that hit somebody's hot dog. Did you see that?
Something went flying.
Yeah. I mean, it was a direct hit on some sort of food. Watch this. Something's flying right here. Oh, yes, right in the Coke, and then he buries it. Awesome. What a play. Coke died a hero.
Six-1 Nats. Trying to end this 5th inning. And Lopez overmatches Rodriguez with a heater after he saw some off-speed stuff. Reynaldo first K in 2 solid innings. And now to the 6th. It's a 5-run lead. go highlights. Crazy inning in the fourth. That's trying to get a couple of runs, and Danny Espinosa scores in the grounder by Worth when Rodriguez chose to throw home. While all this was happening, and then there's the Harper RBI ground ball, and that throw pulled Rodriguez off the bag. Another error. The Mets were in the process of going up, or rather the Phillies 10-0 at New York. So just like that, the Nats scored 3 unearned runs in the fourth to take a 6-1 lead. Here we are 2 innings later, and Reynaldo Lopez leads off. He has pitched 2 scoreless innings. He's 1 for 9 with a couple of sacrifice bunts as a big league hitter. In his 2 innings, 33 pitches, 21 strikes. Swing and a miss, and the ball gets away, but kind of decided to go for a while and then not run. So thrown out by CERVELLIC. Nats box. Jason Worth, 2 hits, 2 runs. Trey Turner, don't forget about that bunt in the first inning that got all the fun started. Bryce Harper, 0 for 2, but 2 RBIs. Rendon's driven 1 in. Stephen Drew, though, the star of the night. Perfect with 2 hits, a walk, 2 RBIs. Trey Turner jammed and sounded like he broke his bat.
Pirates have been pounding Trey Turner in with the fastball and using the off speed on the other side. So far, he's been fantastic at making all the adjustments and then elevating with 2 strikes. I'm telling you, you make as much noise as he has early, the scouts are paying tons of attention to Trey.
Right in there, strikes out looking. And 3 strikeouts in a row for Drew Hutchinson. Mercedes-Benz will track it.
Looked like a cutter. They started off the plate and it came back. 93 miles an hour, started as a ball and ended up as a strike. Pretty good pitch. It's a good uni right there. Look at that.
Worth single, double, fielder's choice. 2 runs scored. Things even. That one low in the zone.
They're checking out the scoreboard. They know what's up. He is ready. Call him up.
3-1.
Jason just missed a home run on a 3-1 count in his second at bat.
And he'll lean back from that one. And Jason Worth is aboard with 2 outs in the 6th.
Yeah, heads up right here. Look out. This would be a perfect time for an ambush steal. Jason Worth is really good at that. 2 outs, you're up by 5.
Well, Bryce Harper's had an interesting night. Sac fly, 2 grounders, 0 for 2, but 2 runs batted in, and he's at 84.
5 stolen bases for JC. He's been caught once. Maybe he'll just hang around and watch Bryce hit. Looks like it.
One. Worth started, then stops, and Bryce fouling it.
Just a quick thought about where the Mets game is and where this one is in the time of game. Dusty Baker has the power to make this game go longer. If he wants that game in New York to end first, he can send catchers out there in trips. He can make trips himself. He can pull stall tactics so he knows if he wants. I don't know if he's even thinking about that. He's probably just thinking about winning this baseball game. But he has the power to make that game finish first if he wants.
Yeah. The green light out there is a little behind. They're in the bottom of the 6th now.
Keep throwing over. I'm all for it. Although Terry Collins will probably make 16 pitching changes between now and the 9th, so he's got his work cut out for him.
With Worth on the move, Bryce another foul on a pitch up. This is a sort of related situation to why they start all the games at the same time on the last day of the season, so that there's no trickery. Maybe a game starting 2 hours before another determines something, and then you can rest a starter that you were going to use and save him for the playoffs. It was a great thing baseball came up with a couple of years ago to start all of those at 3 o'clock Eastern. So Harper, first base hit tonight, Worth to third, and a corner situation with 2 down.
Oh, nice at bat by Bryce. Looks like he got something close to it. Maybe a cut fastball, pulls it to right. Jason Worth off on the pitch. Easy first and third. So runners at the corners, 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. See if Anthony Rendon can pad that lead a little bit.
And significantly, Bryce Harper's 4th hit of this series. Starting to drive the ball regularly, and this is interesting. That was the first hit in the series that he pulled. The other 3 last night, all the other way. Anthony Rendon is 0 for 1, hit by a pitch, a run scored, and a sacrifice fly. Left-hander Zach Phillips. I think the Pirates have set a major league record. They have 7 left-handers in their bullpen.
Good take.
One to Anthony Rendon. Up and away.
All right. You went from thinking about a single to now doing some damage in a 2-1 count.
Ball skips in. Full count, so Bryce Harper about to take off. You see teams in the outfield play Rendon about as straight away as any batter in the league. McCutchen on a line right from home plate through the mound out to center. And a 3-2 breaking ball that he tops to stay alive.
Go back, do it again.
In the dirt, and they strike him out. Nats are done in the top of the 6th inning. They've stranded 7 runners tonight, but a lead by 5. Beautiful night, big crowd at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. Bottom of the 6th, bottom 3 in the order for the Pirates with the Nats on top. 6-1 Pirates box score. Their only offense, the Josh Bell right field home run. His 3rd as a big leaguer in the 3rd inning. That's with 1 out against Joe Ross. Later in the inning, he hit a batter, gave up a single, walked a guy, and then Sean Burnett came in to get a big out in a 3-1 game on Matt Joyce. And the Pirates have only 1 walk and what double since against Reynaldo Lopez. Matt Joyce pulled it to Harper last time, and the Nats are in the big shift.
Good changeup. As a young pitcher in the minor leagues, when you throw 98, you're just blowing it by guys. Overmatching younger hitters. And then when you get to the big leagues, you realize I don't have to blow it by everybody. I have the best defenders in the world playing behind me. And it's okay if they put it in play.
Well, last inning, he showed Sean Rodriguez a bunch of off-speed stuff and then blew him away. So there's the heater, and Matt Joyce pretty late
You remember his debut, he threw like 20 fastballs in a row and the Dodgers were all over him. And I think he was just accustomed to, like, here it is, hit it. Closer mentality as a starter. And as he's progressed, he's realizing, hey, let those guys play behind me. They're pretty good.
So off speed after the fastball for another strikeout. 2 in a row. Cervelli next, and Nissan will track it.
This little roundhouse curve, about 79, nothing special, acting more like a changeup than anything, but gets the job done.
Cervelli late for that. He has single to right and walked. And on deck is big Jason Rogers. One pitch, and Reynaldo throwing a lot of tantalizing off-speed stuff here. Third inning of work. 33 pitches, 21 strikes to get through the 4th and the 5th. I don't know what that 97 looks like after the changes and the hooks, but it's got to be a lot quicker looking than that.
97 is 97, but you throw a couple of curveballs in there, it'll play a little quicker, for sure.
Wow. Uncle Charlie. 3 Ks in a row, all swinging, 2 outs.
Like I just got done saying, he's really learning that he can use his defense behind him. That curveball we've seen more sharp, but tonight it's kind of got some sweep to it, and I think the differential in speed playing havoc on the Pirates hitters more than the break itself. I mean, it's just almost like a slow looping curveball. I think it was against the Braves in Atlanta where he had that wiffle ball curveball. It was snapping. This one a little bit different. Maybe an adjustment he's made.
There's 6'1", 250 Jason Rogers. Well, that'll work. 1 pitch for the 3rd out. Drew takes care of it, and 3 shutout innings by Reynaldo Lopez. Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals. There's a beautiful shot as we look upstream at the Monongahela here. Right outside right field at PNC Park. Going to the top of the 7th, we got some freight rail works due up info for you. Wilson Ramos tonight, a base hit, first time up, 6-game streak. Stephen Drew go back to the 26th of May, hitting over 360. And a long time out in the middle of that with the vertigo. No ill effects from that. And then Ryan Zimmerman trying to make it 8 out of 10 games if he can get a knock tonight. 30-year-old Zach Phillips, he came on for one batter last night, struck out Bryce Harper in the 6th. He gets Wilson Ramos here.
Fastball slider change, 3 pitches. Fastball averages 90.5 miles an hour.
Strike call. Well hit right center. He's not going to settle for one hit tonight. Extending that hitting streak. He's going to stop. Wilson Ramos continues his brilliant hitting to right center field.
Yeah, nice piece hitting by Wilson going the other way. Great play by Josh Bell to hold Wilson to a single. Watch the angle Josh takes to cut this off. And he makes a strong throw right on the money and stops Wilson in his tracks. That looked like a double. But a nice hustle play by the Pirates right fielder. And a good throw.
Stephen Drew, perfect night. Lefty-lefty matchup here. He's 0 for 1 career against Zach Phillips. It's nasty on the hook. Counts even 1-1.
Pretty good slider. He made it look like a strike for a minute, broke it out of the zone.
Then a heater.
Goes back to that slider right here. Let's see.
Bouncer. And Cervelli, a very efficient stop on that one. And Drew to the left side. Under it, Rodriguez. 1 out.
2017 Nats Plus memberships. They're on sale right now. Join now for the only way to guarantee 2016 postseason tickets and guarantee access to the 2018 All-Star Game. Enjoy the exclusive experiences, rewards, and access that memberships provide. Call 202-675-NATS or visit nationals.com/Nats Plus and join today. Question for you. What would lefties' averages look like if every bullpen had 7 lefties in it?
Well, they'd never see a right-hander late in a game like Ryan Zimmerman gives that one a ride, and McCutchen onto the track will catch it 390 feet away. 2 outs.
Gave it a ride, good swing. Bet first pitch fastball, got one at just off the sweet spot. He gets that on a sweet spot, it's in the plants. Muscled that one out there about 390 feet away from home plate. It's a good hack.
Danny Espinosa right-handed with 2 outs now. 2-0-4 from that side of the plate. They've gone to the 7th at New York. The Mets got 2 more runs in the 6th, and that's a 10-6 game.
Let's go Phillies in your bullpen. Don't make me nervous. Oh wait, I'm not supposed to care what they do. Sorry. I got greedy for a second.
It's Michael A. Taylor, pitcher's spot next.
There he is, eye chart. Get loose.
Yeah, they have the top of their order up after the stretch.
Man, he might have thought that was a little inside. Either that or he's frustrated he didn't swing. I think it's the first one.
Two now. And then the off-speed away gets it. Pirates bullpen keeping it where it is, but it's a 5-run difference. .610 Nats, 163 Pirates. Going to the bottom of the 7th, Washington area Toyota dealers helping children and their families. Every time a Nats pitcher rings up a strikeout, $37 to the Children's Inn at the National Institutes of Health. Toyota case for kids. Because they didn't have to hit for him, it's a 4th inning of work now for Reynaldo Lopez. 44 pitches, 29 strikes. Ground ball right side, weakly hit, Stephen Drew.
Lopez doing a nice job. Came in, walked the first hitter, and is really settling into this one. Maybe he had to calm the nerves a little bit overhand, realizing the situation a little bit.
Looking at 5 ground ball outs, 3 strikeouts, only 1 hit given up. And here's Josh Bell. Challenge heater.
If things stay like they are, what do you do if you're the Nats?
You go in the clubhouse and watch the rest of that game if it's still going on. And by the way, I don't think this is, you know, being too far out there superstitious or anything. The plastic is hung in the clubhouse. It was there before the game tonight, all rolled up and kind of bunched up at the top. You know, things can change quickly in those situations.
I think if it was still 10-0, you could care less if that game was still going. 10-6 though, you gotta wait.
I mean, yeah, I mean the Mets, they're going to hit for 3 more innings. They've been pulling some fast ones late in games lately, so that one way far from over. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Josh Bell. To a knee, Drew, busy man. 2 outs, 3 consecutive grounders to him.
Five ground balls to Stephen Drew since Ronaldo Lopez has come in the game.
Yeah, a couple of line drives to the outfield, 1 to Worth, 1 to Harper, and then 1 other ground ball over to Anthony Rendon. So here's McCutchen, who hit that line drive to Jason Worth 2 innings ago. Andrew 1 for 3 tonight. He did extend his hitting streak to 12 games.
But curveballs, just hit a nice touch on it tonight. Almost sliderish. I don't call it a slurve. And then the changeup. Andrew McCutchen's thinking about 97. He got a curveball 78 and a changeup in the low 80s.
Fastball down. In the shift, it's Espinoza. And in a city with a lot of bridges, Lopez just spanned from the 4th to the 8th inning.
Miller Lite. How about a stroll down memory lane? 2012. You remember the Braves lost to the Pirates, I think, and the Nats lost to the Phillies, but they clinched at home. The place went nuts. It was organic. And then 2014 in Atlanta, September 16th, Tanner Roark with the gem to beat the Braves. There is no wrong pipe. Kevin Franzen's famous line in the clubhouse. Matt Williams' toast. Bryce Harper's firefighter's helmet. And who knows what's in store this year. But if that doesn't get you fired up, wake you up, get you going, nothing will.
Here's a Reynaldo Lopez. He's going to bat again against the left-hander, Zach Phillips. So he could be pitching 5 innings of relief tonight.
Yeah, he's still in there. I mean, you got expanded rosters. There's no way Dusty Baker, I don't think, would let him hit and then bring somebody in. Nobody's throwing the Nats pen, so he's liking the ground balls and the touch on the curveball that he's seeing from Ronaldo.
54 pitches, 36 strikes.
Boys are having fun. Starting to feel it a little bit. Nervous energy.
Nasty breaking ball. Second straight strikeout for Zach Phillips. Top of the order, Trey Turner and Jason Worth. Texas Rangers clinched last night.
Yeah, good for Ian Desmond. Congratulations.
Yeah, back in postseason.
I mean, if you're going to go somewhere, you made the right choice.
The Boston Red Sox magic number is 3. They beat Tampa Bay tonight, and they've only won 10 straight. Cleveland still playing. Theirs is 3. And out in the West, the Dodgers is 2. To put away the Giants, at least for the division title. And they have a 4-0 lead. So on a night last night when some magic numbers were a little stubborn, tonight some are on the move. 2-0 to Turner. And he lines one out to right center. McCutchen. Trey Turner 1 for 5 tonight. 2 outs, and Jason Worth is next.
Swing. Hit it right on the nose. From where we're sitting, I was hoping that would fall.
Yeah, he hit
All of a
it
sudden,
better than I thought he did.
Yeah, halfway through it, I'm like, get up. What are we, we're higher than Nats Park here, aren't we?
We're not quite as high, but we're farther back, I've noticed. Just think of your posture right now. When we're at Nationals Park,
Oh, yeah.
you and I are leaning over the counter to see home plate. Here, in our comfortable position, we're just seeing about the first 5 rows of seats down below, well behind home plate. So it's similar, and I'm not sure which one I prefer. It's hard to tell.
I'm pretty hunchback, so I'll take this one.
Hello. It's a long way up here.
1979, the year I was born.
Do you guys sing We Are Family?
My mom and dad did, probably. Even though I was born in 67 or 66. I don't even know when I was born. Jason having a nice night. Good uni working.
On base 3 times, a couple of runs. Ooh, hunting one that he was trying to hit a long way. They've just now moved to the bottom of the 7th in New York, 10-6 still.
Got a couple of pitches there. He's letting the throttle out. He wants to add on with a tater. Now he'll go to base hit mode.
Left-hander Jeff Locke. Off speed, stays outside. 3-2. Worth to center for McCutchen. Both bullpens pretty solid right now. Reynaldo Lopez, is he about to pitch a 5th inning? Maybe so. duty tonight. The Nats Extra Postgame Show presented by WB Mason when this one's over. So here's what we're going to do when the game's over. Provided the Nats win, the magic number goes to 1. And then we will all stay at our stations and await the final result from New York. And he'll be part of it as well. We might just have to hire him for a little added enthusiasm in the booth.
That's the best crowd shot we've had all year.
But here's what we'll do. We'll throw it to Johnny and Ray as we usually do for Nats Extra. And then, if the Phillies hold on and win and the Nats clinch, FP and I will still be here in the booth. Dan will be heading for the locker room, the clubhouse, and you will have full, complete coverage after this one if it's a clincher. We'll also have a camera in the clubhouse to give you, after the fact, pictures of what the Nats reaction would be if that thing holds up in New York. Trey Turner's got a long way to go. He's going to turn and play it off the wall on a drive by Jung-Ho Kang, who's hitting the ball all over the yard tonight. That's his second extra base hit, his third hit, and he's on for the 4th time.
Nice swing by Kang. He's been locked in all night. Did get to the fastball, got his foot down, and Trey Turner does a nice job of knowing that's over his head and playing it off the wall. There's been a few times where he's turned a couple doubles into triples because he's thinking he can catch it, so you like the mentality, but now he's learning that, hey, if I don't have it, put the brakes on, play it on a hop, and hold him to a double. So good swing and some progress for Trey Turner. Nice play.
Kang swinging the bat great. Here's John JASO. He's hit 3 line drives tonight. 1 to Ryan Zimmerman, 1 a hit up the middle, and 1 to Bryce Harper. One of those at bats, the 1 to Harper against Lopez. Runner aboard, so Drew not into right field like he would be. But the Nats in the shift. Rendon, because of the runner, within 5 or 6 steps of third base. It's a great pitch. Changeup. Fading away from the left-hander, still got the corner.
Great touch on all his off-speed tonight.
Blake Trinan joining Mark Zepchinski.
Yeah, Dusty telling me before the game, Mark Melancon with 2 innings tonight would not be available, but we've seen Dusty change his mind in heat of battle, so stay tuned on that one.
3-1. A lot of things happened in those 2 innings against Mark last night. He threw 27 pitches total in the 9th and the 10th.
They told Dusty he wanted the 10th. He said he felt the obligation to his teammates to go back out there after he gave it up.
He did put up a 0. And now Lopez gets it back to 3-2.
You know he wants back in there too.
Right center and playable for Trey Turner. Trey's just going to hit the cutoff man here. As Kang goes to third. It's all about getting outs right now, and that's what Lopez did with JASO. Sean Rodriguez is next, 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Lopez struck him out swinging for the last out, 5th inning.
So 63 pitchers for Ronaldo, 42 strikes, 21 balls. I wonder if he's starting to get a little fatigued out there. But he has done an amazing job of picking up the bullpen tonight. I thought Joe Ross was good early, and maybe the conditioning thing and is a factor right now. It kind of hit the wall, but he was 94 to 96, had a real tight slider going, was dominant the first couple innings.
The Mets did not score in the 7th, top of the 8th. Phillies hitting 10-6, they lead. Outdoor curveball, and Sean Rodriguez has had some unusual swings against Reynaldo in 2 ABs tonight.
But it seems like he's guessing with him and guessing wrong. Give Wilson Ramos some credit. He wants in.
Heater, right-handed batter, well late. Nationals trying to win their 90th game of the year. And Sean Rodriguez overmatched again by Reynaldo Lopez. 2 outs.
This is a beautiful sequence all the way around. The curveball's early, the fastball's late, elevated on purpose right here. Rodriguez in a abbreviated swing mode, just trying to play pepper and put it in play for an RBI, and couldn't do it. The pitch was too high.
There's Matt Joyce. And now Lopez 1 out away from 5 innings out of the bullpen. Joyce 0 for 3 tonight, couple of Ks, a line out to Harper. He was the first, well, he was the guy who lined out against Sean Burnett back in the 3rd to get that key out.
They're so ready. I mean, you get to this point, Carp, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, whatever. It's been a hard work. And people talking about, yeah, we got bigger things on our agenda, you know, blah, blah, blah. No, you celebrate like a rock star tonight if this happens. You worked your tail off to get to this point. These years don't come around very often. There's teams that would kill for a division championship, so you can't take it lightly. It's not about a toast and shaking hands and, oh, we got bigger and better things to do. No, you let loose tonight.
We are seeing some unusual Pirate swings against our rookie here. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs.
Because you never know if it's going to happen again. You just don't as a player. There's guys, and I said this last night, that play 15, 20 years and never do this. So you can't be all nonchalant and say, well, you know, we're going to win the World Series. That's our... No. First things first. Be in the moment. Be in the present. And enjoy it. Enjoy a lot of hard work and a long season of accomplishments. It all comes to fruition, hopefully, in a couple minutes.
One and 2 with 2 outs. Runner way down the line at 3rd. Lopez dazzles the Pirates again.
Reynaldo Lopez, ladies and gentlemen, how about that?
5 shutout innings. Brought to you by American Standard Heating and Air. It's their all-star sales event with up to $1,100 in instant rebates or 0% APR for 36 months. By Bank of America. Life's better when we're connected. And by visitannapolis.org. Create your moment at visitannapolis.org.
They're hanging in there. They're getting excited. They're waiting for the ball to drop on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, and as the evening goes on and some Pirate fans start departing from this crowd of 30,137, some of the folks in red are starting to approach that first base side. They want to crowd down by that dugout as much as they can. In the meantime, 28-year-old left-hander Jeff Locke, former draft pick of the Braves, and he never pitched for them, but he's been in Pittsburgh since 11. And this will be his 30th appearance. He's made 19 starts this year.
Yeah, fastball, slider, changeup. It's a good sign. Looks like he used to throw the curveball last year. He's kind of ditched it this year. So a 4-pitch guy goes to a 3-pitch guy. Bryce Harper looking for another base hit.
2 for 7 career against the lefty. Bryce a base hit, 2 RBIs tonight. 4 hits in the series.
Taken all the way. I would love to see Bryce just pure one right into the river. Just get all of one. Like that one he hit at home into the third deck.
Up the middle, one hopper. Locke has it. Now to the bottom of the 8th in New York.
He's ready. Look at him. Nervous anticipation. That says how we're all feeling right now.
Anthony Rendon 0 for 2, hit by a pitch, scored a run, and then drove one in with a sac fly in the 4th inning.
Getting there. He was priceless a couple minutes ago. That was awesome.
Rendon hooking one foul.
Remember in 14 when the Nats clinched, there was a concert at Turner Field afterwards. There's a concert here tonight. I think Hunter Hayes is playing, so very similar. I forget who was playing in Atlanta. It didn't matter.
Turned into a Nats family picnic out there on the field in front of the third base dugout that
cool.
night.
There was nowhere to go, nowhere to be. It was mission accomplished. Guys are all like 12-year-olds right now in there. It's the greatest feeling you could possibly imagine. Well, there's one better. Getting that ring.
Scherzer, Revere, Strasburg. 3-2 to Rendon, and Anthony's going to get himself a base hit. His first of the series. He's aboard with 1 out, top of the 9th.
He got so far inside that ball when it hit the dirt, it actually shot the other way. It was spinning inside out, hit the dirt, and shot away from Sean Rodriguez at short, right up the middle.
They're all calling Wilson now. 2 for 4 tonight. He gets that batting average back up to .305.
There's Wilson Scherzer. And what a year he's had, huh? He's going to get paid wherever he goes, whether it's here or wherever. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. LASIK surgery in spring training, a new workout regime in the offseason.
Broken bat, base hit, 3 for 5. So he goes third base, right center, and left field for his 3 hits tonight.
He was posting his workouts on Instagram this offseason, and I was checking it out. I'm like, this guy is getting after it. Like, he is on a mission talking about Wilson. And then the LASIK surgery, and the rest, as they say, is history. What a season.
Then there's Stephen Drew, who's become super sub with Daniel Murphy sidelined for a while. 2 hits, 2 RBIs, a walk tonight. 0 for 1 career against Jeff Locke. And he'll pop it up on the first pitch, right side. Infield fly rule in effect, and now it's a foul ball. 2 outs.
And that guy, who anticipated that? If you did, let's go to Vegas. Just get better. Send good vibes to Daniel Murphy. He has to get better. Probably eating him up that he's not out there right now.
Just be careful with him in the clubhouse. Whenever it is, the celebration would begin. Ryan Zimmerman 0 for 3 tonight, hit by a pitch back in the first. And against Locke, 1 for 2 career.
There's a handful of guys that will go berserk. I mean, most guys are going to have fun, but there's probably 3 or 4 that will go berserk. And I think Max Scherzer's at the top of that list. Jason Worth is up there. Bryce Harper, probably one of those guys. Ryan will be in the top 5, believe it or not. I've known these guys for 6 years now, seen them play every day. Tanner will go berserk.
Swing, a foul tip, and a strikeout. 3 outs to go to get the magic number to 1, and then we'll see what happens. Park, but there's an increasing amount of red down by that first base dugout. Look at this. Reynaldo Lopez might take the ball at the start of the 4th inning and go the rest of the way if this works out.
I like it. Dusty Baker riding the hot hand, and if you're going to blow one of your pitchers out, just let them go. I mean, what's the difference between 70 or 90 pitches? And there's all the Nats fans kind of sliding down behind the Nats dugout. Players turn around, checking it out. Pretty good scene here at PNC Park. You're starting to feel it. So they're all chanting, "Let's go Nats" right now behind the Nats dugout. This is great. Wish you could be here.
That ball's well hit to right, and it's going to be over Bryce Harper. Banks off the wall, and that's a long single for Cervelli. Off the right field wall. We're about to get involved in a lot of celebratory things, but this is interesting. Thought crossed my mind the other day, has any team ever won 3 division titles in 5 years with 3 different managers? The answer is it's never been done. Now, one other ball club back in the day when you would win and you'd win the pennant has done that, and that was the St. Louis Cardinals franchise way back in the 20s and the 30s. They won 3 pennants in 5 years with 3 different managers. But in divisional play, what the Nats are about to accomplish has never been done with 3 different skippers at the helm. Pinch hitter here is Pedro Florimon. Swing and a miss. And now some of the Pittsburgh fans dropping a "Let's go Bucks." Oh, 2. No swing, says Tim Timmons down at third. The Mets just scored a run in the bottom of the 8th. It's 10-7 in New York. Mets just want to take care of their business here. Double play in order. Fastball didn't miss by much. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Feeling it? Don't care how long you played, you feel it. Just don't look to your left at the scoreboard. Look at Bryce just turn around looking at it after every pitch. He just turned right around, looked right at it.
Fastball gets him. Bolted to the outside edge. 1 out.
Paint. Good frame by Ramos. Didn't like the call, but it was a good pitch.
Up and away. Counts even. Rather, it's 2-0 now.
close.
Right in there, and the count goes full. Trinan and Zepchinski have been ready for a while, but Reynaldo Lopez keeps rolling along. 6th inning of work, and a payoff pitch with 1 out. Runner holds. It's a walk.
Well, decision time for Dusty Baker. Is his right-hander a little bit tired right now? Does he go to the pen? I think you just got your answer.
Reynaldo Lopez walked the first man he faced back in the 4th. He walks the final man he faces here in the 9th. But that's going to be 5 innings in a 3rd. In considering the situation, one of the best pitching performances ever by a young Nat out of the bullpen.
He was fantastic.
But a lot to take care of here. 2 more outs. Mark Zepchinski will get the call.
3 pitches, fastball, slider, change. Fastball in the low 90s, turns it over, gets a lot of ground balls. Did you hear what Terry Collins did in that Mets game? He pulled all of his starters out where it was 10-0. So everything that's happened in New York is with all of his bench guys and his call-ups.
Crazy. And they've got 2nd and 3rd 2 outs in the 8th, down 10-7. Here's Josh Bell, the rookie who's homered tonight. He'll bat from the right side here. And Bell will lift one short center. Trey Turner and then Bryce Harper in front of him. Either could have caught it. Bryce made the call. 2 outs.
Had it all the way, not a problem.
Here's McCutchen. So the Mets just failed to add to their run total. And they're going to the top of the 9th at Citi Field. Dusty's going to go situational here.
I told you he could slow it down if he wanted to.
Blake Trinan against one of the best hitters in the league when we come back. Pacing, and 1 out to go for the Nats to get that magic number down to 1. And Blake Treinen gets the assignment against Andrew McCutchen, who's 2 for 5 career against him, including 0 for 1 in this series already.
Tremendous honor to be on the mound for that last out. Blake Treinen with the 2-seam fastball slider combination. The slider's been fantastic. And if they can pull this off, I think you'll see an exuberant handshake line. Let's just put it that way.
Yep. Crazy thing about it is here in Pittsburgh, they have a post-game concert scheduled. So the fans won't have any trouble sticking around, but it may be the Nats fans celebrating against the music and noise of Hunter Hayes here. That is a strike. Fastball inner edge from Treinen to McCutchen.
Curious to see the reaction here.
Strike 2. Oh, 2. Fly ball to right. Bryce Harper, long run. Can't get to the foul.
Hit the wall hard. Good effort. He wanted that, didn't he? He wanted that ball so bad. Yeah, look at the effort by Bryce, and then he had to hit the brakes. Good try.
Andrew McCutchen has 1,299 hits. Trying to get him out to end the game. Line drive, and that's it. The magic number is down to 1. The Nationals have done their part. Now they'll wait and see if the Phillies can do theirs to eliminate the Mets. Good team win tonight.
Reynaldo Lopez was fantastic. The offense was swinging the bats, and I told you it'd be a little exuberant. Handshake line, check it out. They're sprinting into the clubhouse, folks. Sprinting. Full speed.